for Dokolo this, because I think you hold this dear to your heart, that ATAT, CECILIA, may she rest in peace, she was a member of your party, and I know obviously as a party you'd want to have the grip on that constituency. What is your game plan as FDC?
First of all, I would like to convey again my heartfelt condolences and the condolences of the party to the people of Lango, the people of Adok, the people of Alero, the family of Imat Cecilia Ogwal, particularly our elder Muzel Lamek, Apap Lamek Ogwal, and generally the people of Uganda upon the loss of a distinguished leader, persons of ATAT, Cecilia, Barbara Timogwal. For us as the FDC, we continue to mourn but also to celebrate her life and to thank God for giving her to us. Of course, we will continue to fill the void that she has left behind, and which void is really very, very, very difficult to make good. Therefore, in line with that, it is prudent on our part to try and look for a replacement for her, not in terms of really dreaming that we will have the quality that of the person that we lost, but at least to hold that position on behalf of the FDC. Because as you have indicated, that position is actually an FDC position.
Sure.
And if you remember what I said during the speeches of for the burial of ATAT, I pleaded with the UPC, with the NRM, with the DP, if they held ATAT dear in their hands, as they seem to have expressed that time, that they give us a free ride to getting this position of the woman MP for Dokolo. In any case, if there is a competition, what we kept asking of the regime in power is to be civil in the manner in which we conduct the campaigns and the manner in which the people of Dokolo are given the freedom to vote according to their wishes. And so in line with that, the FDC is this morning going to form a team that is going to lead the campaign in Dokolo. Don't mind that we haven't zeroed on a particular candidate at this moment in time. We are busy having talks with a number of people, but particularly, this is an opportunity we would like to stay within the family of ATAT, CECILIA, OGWAL. And in any case, really, we challenged the family to identify an individual for us, and this is what the family has done so far. And therefore, they have mentioned the name of Rosemary Roach Ogwal as a possible replacement for their mother. In line with this, on Monday this week, we had the opportunity to have a face-to-face interaction with part of the family, including Dr. Rosemary Roach Ogwal, to have an impression of her and to ask a few questions of her, and for her also to understand our relationship with her mother, ATAT Cecilia Ogwal. But beyond that, to try and find out her willingness to carry the flag of the FDC. What I can say at the moment is that we continue to be in talks with her, because we believe that she would be a suitable and more easier candidate to market in the context of this particular election.
Okay.
And so strategically, we have alerted our people on the ground. In fact, even throughout the period of mourning, we kept consulting them. Overall, we've talked to our leaders in Lango, and we particularly now put in place a leadership within DOKOLO itself that we think will push this campaign to its logical conclusion.
Now, Bwana Pipi. So as we speak right now, are you confirming to us that Dr. Rosemary could be or is your official candidate? Because I understand that as FDC, you have your internal process and criteria of unveiling a candidate.
We cannot rule out the possibility that other women will take interest, FDC women will take interest in running. And you are right to say we have internal mechanisms to deal with this. And this is one of the matters we are dealing with. So I think, to be accurate, I can say Rosemary OGWAL could be, and I want you to note, could be our candidate. And I think that by Monday next week, we should have a straight answer to give to you, because we are going to go back and forth. We'll have to be talking to DOKOLO, we'll have to be talking to other stakeholders, including potential opponents of our candidates. We'll continue to engage them because we think that they should give us the goodwill that we deserve as a party, FDC party. Remember that CECILIA died leaving about half of her term undone. And therefore, we think that this is a term that we must complete as the FDC. And so we're going to engage all stakeholders within and without the FDC to try to get a straight answer in as far as the competition that is ahead of us is concerned. I hope that we win the hearts of people outside the FDC and also win the hearts of our members within the FDC, who may have some reservations of a possible choice of our candidates.
Mr. Party President.
Yes.
As an investigative journalist, I should give you this information for free. I am privy to the fact that many parties are interested. They are coveting the same character, the same candidate that you as FDC is envying. And one of them is a National Resistance Movement Party. As a matter of fact, I will tell you that they've gone ahead to form some social media networking groups to try to talk to Rosemary. So in the event that you wake up one morning and besides your shoes missing, she's also missing, what happens?
Now, what I can say about this is that I think, the other political parties have a right to have interest in Rosemary and watch. And it is within their line of freedom, their area of freedom to do that. But I think one thing that came out during our conversation with Dr. ALWOC is that the issue of a Matt's legacy is something that is key in the mind of the family. And it would be extremely disappointing, of course, if the NRM took her, because then her legacy is tied up to her role within the FDC. And so you cannot claim to be carrying forward her legacy without speaking about the FDC, because the FDC was so dear to her heart. And she expressed this even 2 days before she passed away. She wrote a note to us, as you are aware, saying, please keep the party together. And she specifically addressed me, the head of the party, say, President, do not be diverted by critics, ignore those critics. What that means is that even at the moment of truth for her, when her life was coming to an end, she continued to think about us, we that she was leaving behind in the FDC. And so I think that it would be a terrible mistake or even a political blunder for Dr. Rosemary ALWOC to betray the wishes of her mother. In fact, I did say to her that, if she did that, the mat would turn in her grave. And, she would speak in her high-pitched voice saying, you children, my children, what have you done to me?
Oh, dear.
And I think she has that at the back of her mind. And I hope that no other circumstance prevails over that line of thinking.
All right,
But
okay.
if it sure happened, then FDC is at the liberty to fill the candidates.
Okay.
One thing that I must say to the listeners, particularly of DOKOLO, is that the FDC is going to have a candidate in this election. There's no doubt in my mind, and I'm speaking with authority on this matter.
Good. My colleague ROBINAH has a question for you.
Thank you, Frank. Doctor.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. In Uganda, we've had series of by-elections running through here and there. I would like to know whether in any of these by-elections, FDC was able to win in any of them. And then if not, what do you think you will do in order for you to retain this DOKOLO woman member of parliamentary seat?
Well, it's a good question. I would like to say that although the FDC won the Soroti City East election, our candidate was not declared. And listeners will remember what happened in that by-election.
But isn't that your common rhetoric as a opposition?
I beg your pardon?
Isn't that a common rhetoric as an opposition? I mean,
No. But we are not talking about other by-elections. We are not talking about.
You're being a meaningful specific.
No, we are not talking about Oyam County North. Certainly not. We are in that by-election. We are not complaining about Buchimbiri because it was obvious the people really were in favor of the NRM candidate. I am specific in what I am saying. You could give us a 50-50 in the case of the other elections, so even a 30-70 in the case of the other by-election. But certainly, as far as the win of Soroti City East constituency is concerned, please give us 100% because we are sure we won that particular election. And it was really it was criminality that played out in that election, forcing a leader onto the population. The people of DOKOLO will remember that I had to spend, together with my colleagues, nearly 30 individuals, spend 3 days locked up in DOKOLO until after the elections, the actual voting took place. And in total, 100 leaders from the FDC were locked up in different police facilities across the region. And I think, this is really an element of cowardice. And just to confirm that our candidate reigns supreme, even in today's situation in Soroti, the person who purportedly won that election has fled the constituency. He's left and gone to another constituency. These are all clear pieces of evidence that the FDC actually won that election. As far as I'm concerned, the FDC is well grounded in DOKOLO. We have a network, and this network was partly due to the effort of our departed mother, and FDC has no strong roots within DOKOLO. We believe that if the NRM avoided politics of violence, politics of intrigue, outright theft of votes, our candidate would win on the basis of the foundation.
On that very note of rigging and violence, my colleague BOBSON has to deal with that. Yes, BOBSON.
Yes, Honorable Patrick.
I can hear you.
I have this question to you. One, we have seen what happened in the by-election in Bukedia, where the LC5 by-election was merged with violence, and it prompted President to write to the security team to investigate the incident. Then we saw the one of Soroti East by-election where Edmond Nariko won Moses Atan Okia of FDC, and FDC says they were reached violently. As FDC, how are you going to counter violence in the by-election of DOKOLO Women MP? Remember, party president for UPC, Jimmy James Michael Akena Bore, says he is ready to do everything to ensure that the votes for his candidates are all protected. As FDC, what are you going to do? Then secondly, we know the issue of money always come in by-election. what are your plans to counter the issues of money or vote buying during the elections?
Our forces on the ground are going to certainly counter the tendency of violence, because I believe, whereas the police and the military might be helping the fanatical supporters of NRM, these are all Lao people who will be in the theater. And so it is brother against brother. And I believe that we can talk to each other and ask the other side to desist from bringing violence into this election. But with that said, I think I have seen the tendency of the NRM changing from one by-election to another. There was a untold brutality and violence in the election of Soroti of a term, which never played out in the case of Bukedia. I think the NRM, I want to believe, have got embarrassed enough, with the manner in which they conduct this election, because we've spoken about this several times. And we'll continue to speak about the excesses in any election that happens, regardless of whether it's in the general election or in a by-election. What happened in Bukedia was outright theft. There was no violence. There was, if anything, during the day of elections, there was minimum violence. And by the way, the letter written by Mr. Museveni was as a result of the scandalous way in which this particular by-election was conducted. By around this time on that day of the election, the voting had ended. And this is unprecedented in the political history of this country. What this did was to prompt me to write a letter and issue a press statement saying to our forces on the ground that this was an exercise in futility. They should withdraw, and our candidate was withdrawn. Our candidature was withdrawn by about 9 o'clock of the day of the election. I remember that the Electoral Commission reacted, and therefore I think out of shame Mr. Museveni did write this letter. We do not believe that he was serious about what he said in respect to this particular election. He rebuked the proponents of the theft of the election, but other than that, we have not seen any further action happening in respect to this. And therefore, maybe this is also an opportunity to challenge Mr. Museveni to leave to his letter and to do whatever it takes to bring to book people who were in charge or superintended over the theft of the election in Bukedia. But sure, be that as it may, I am sure that every election is different in its own way, and the dynamics of this particular election in Dokolo is going to be of interest to us, even as we move the last 10 towards the beginning of the exercise of replacement of Imat Cecilia Ogwala team.
We want to say Yaramanoi,
before you say Yaramanoi, before you say Atek, I would like to.
Okay, your last remarks fine. Yes, go ahead.
To the NRM fanatical supporters and operatives, the DSOs, the GISOs, the RDCs, who sometimes are deployed to disrupt a smooth exercise. Those people should know that they are Ugandans, and whereas today they serve the NRM, there will come a day when they will have to serve another government. And so they should not be found on the wrong side of the law, because the law will catch up with them now when they are in power, or even in future once they are out of power.
All right, we want to appreciate you so much, Engineer Patrick Amuriat Boy, for speaking to us. Me, I'll say one Uganda, you will say one people, and then Robin, I will say Ra.
Thank you very much. One Uganda.
One people.
Ra.
One people.
Thank you for your time, Engineer.
Thank you for having me, and have a good day.
All right.
Thank you.